placement and more even stands.
No more. Well, Millie, I might hand over to you and we'll get a bit of a panel session going. Back some chairs up and we might just have a bit of a forum and go from there.
Yeah, just bring some chairs up there, Drummy and Brady. Yeah, thanks, Evan, for that. We just thought we'd have a bit of a get-together and invite these speakers that we've had this morning to talk on CDF up the front. And I've also asked Chris Drum to come up as well, and Steve Machos, who will be speaking this afternoon, who also runs a controlled traffic system, because when we're doing our planning meeting back in January, February, the big topic on everyone's mind then was, especially the Mallee guys, was probably CDF. And we've just come out of that wet harvest, and guys are talking about how many times they got their headers bogged and getting across paddocks and, you know, taking grain off and so forth. And we were sort of talking, you know, and they asking how we went with our CDF systems, and it really stood up over harvest. And as you can see by those photos of mine, there really was some big differences with the tracks. And I know myself driving ahead, as soon as we fell off those tracks, down we went, we were stuck. So those tracks really held us in good stead for harvest and getting grain off at efficient time and not being delayed, I suppose. Like soon as grain moisture was right, we're in there harvesting. And I think that was the difference with some other guys got held up because they couldn't get across paddocks. So that's hence why we've run this session today, to bring these guys in and try and give some more information. And now the reason with get Brady across is probably a bit more relevant to some of you guys in the Mallee. Farming big acreage, logistics is a big issue for him. Getting across country in a timely fashion is his number one priority. So very much similar to you, Mallee guys. I know you think us small Wimmera guys can do it easy, but Brady's a good one that, you know, to talk on that. And I think he's, with his CDF systems, doing a great job. And I think it's very applicable to you Mallee guys and how you try and structure up a CDF system for you guys. So I will ask these guys to give their input. I'll give them some loaded questions. They reckon they can give some loaded answers back. But I want you guys, this is an interactive session. I know it's hard, but there is roving mics getting around. That if we can get some questions fired in, it's a great chance for you guys that are thinking about the move to CDF, are wondering, you know, the cost side of it, you know, how much it's going to cost you to get in. It's easy. We all do the calculations and we go, oh, that's too expensive. But as Wal touched on there before, it's the hidden cost that we don't see. Like I say to a lot of my guys, if I took $10 off them or $50 off every time I saw a problem from a wheel track, they'd soon go out and convert their systems tomorrow. But because they're not writing out a cheque for it, yeah, they just say, oh, we'll get to that. So I want to open it up and get your feedback coming in, because I think there is a lot of questions out there, and I think there's a lot of questions, especially the guys in the Mallee, that are thinking about going to that. And with their bigger acreages, they're probably working out, well, where do we go? And I think we've got some guys here. Well, just to break it down, give you a background. Wal's on 35, he said. Steve's Machos on 35. Brady's on 40, and Drummy's on 40'2". And there is a footnote here. This is not a daybreak convention, if everyone's thinking that. I was just thinking there before when Wal said, I've got a daybreak as well, and Steve's got a daybreak, and Brady's got a daybreak. Yeah, there's something going on here, but it's just coincidence more so than anything. But these are guys that I've all had something to do with, and I think that between them all, they're all at different stages, and that's why I've sort of picked these four guys to come up the front, because you've got guys in early adoption and you've got guys like Wal that have been there a bit longer. But it's a good chance for you to get an overall picture and bounce ideas off them to help your own farming system. So I'll just start with you, Wal, because you've been in it the longest. How long before... With residue management, I suppose, how long was you in CDF before you woke up and said, oh shit, I've got to do something about residue management?
From when we took on
Took on CDF, I suppose, yeah.
Oh, pretty well straight away, but it's taken us a long time to do it properly. But looking back sort of 5 or 6 years ago, we should have just bitten the bullet early and spent the dollars, I think, on a simple system like a Redicop. You know, you can buy them off the shelf, fit them up, and they'll work. But because we like to get in the workshop and save a bit of money perhaps and do our own stuff, we mucked around with a lot of other stuff. But as I said in my presentation, you've just got to get that part of it right. If you don't get that part of it right, everything else will start to fall down. If you start running the header in the same track every year, if you're not spreading it the full width, you're going to get nutrient banding, you're going to get poor germination on the outside, and if you got really bad spread like in the centre, you're just not going to get germination at all. So, yeah, it's a big part of it, Newley. You've got to get it right from the start.
If there's any questions, put your hand up or going and fire them at any of these guys too. Yep, come on.
We don't unload our chaser bin on the tracks, and that's our most. That's the only pass now that isn't. So we're going to Walls, I think, on Sunday to have a look at what he's done, and we need to adopt that. But once again, to achieve between 14 and 18 hectares per hour cropped, because it really is a small window, and we suffer significantly if we don't get our crops in May. I just couldn't see us doing. We've already gone from 18 metres. I mean, everyone around us has an 18-metre tine machine. So we're all, and we still have one. So it's only this year that we're going to our second 12-metre seeder. So, we took 4 years to decide that, that we're doing the right thing. It was a 50% commitment for us, which is obviously a lot less than people running one machine have to make. So we could take our time, make sure that we're doing the right thing. But, yeah, I couldn't see us doing it on less than 12 metres, no.
Any other questions while we're going? Yep. Yeah, Wal and Drummy probably...
I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet about track renovating at the moment. We do it because in some cases we have to do it. It's my belief though, and I'm sure to get a bit of argument, I think, from a couple of guys up front here. I think we can over renovate our tracks. We can get crop established in the bottom of those tracks, so it's not an issue if we have to get them flat so we can establish crop. All we need to renovate our tracks for is so that when we're doing a pass with something like the boom spray, the thing will drive straight. It won't climb up out of the track or climb into a track. And especially on our end rows, it's important because the seeder drivers and the header drivers and all that hate the end rows because that second out from the fenced boom spray pass, that'll wake you up pretty good if you're doing 15 k's in the seeder and hit it without renovating it. So yeah, there are cases where we have to renovate, but do we need to renovate really wide tracks and get them dead flat? I don't think so, but some other people might.
Drummy, I reckon you should comment on this.
Get an argument out of Drum.
With your, seeing as though you haven't got a parallelogram.
Yeah, well, that's right. I'm the one daybreak free man up here. So in relation to renovating, well, we have to because we've got a tine, and unlike these guys, you've got to have it pretty flat, or those tines behind the wheels will basically miss the ground. So we probably did a fair bit of renovating. This is the first year we've had a renovator, and certainly after a wet harvest we had to renovate a fair bit. But as Walsh says, it creates problems. I mean, you can look up our rows now and just see ryegrass from one end to the other where the renovator's been. And that's one of the good things about no tilling. Like a lot of these problems, these ryegrass problems that everyone seems to have, it's all to do with too much tilling. And yeah, it's a good example.
Another thing about track renovation is the longer you're in controlled traffic in certain soil types, you'll start to get a heave in between the tracks. The soil will actually rise up in a convex manner. So if we take track renovation to the ultimate end, what are we going to do? We're going to end up, renovating 4 metres wide.